I've been wearing this watch for more than a week ahead of this review, and I caught myself doing something odd. That is, when I check the time, I almost always end up doing it twice. And it's not because it is not easy to read the time on this diver. On the contrary, this Phoibos is super legible. It is just this Eagle Ray compressor dial is so tastefully done that I can't help but take a second or two to admire its elegance, and I forget to check what time it actually is, so I need to look again. Hello and welcome back. The fact that Phoibos is reissuing this Eagle Ray model for the third or is it fourth time in the last 3 years says a lot about popularity of this watch. Phoibos did a few variations on the dial colorways and did a few tweaks on the dial, like moving the date to 6 o'clock position, and I think this time around it is one of their best iterations. The intriguing question, of course, is what is it about this watch that keeps horology enthusiasts coming back to it time and time again? Yes, it does have an original design, but there must be more than that, and we will try to get to the bottom of it in this review. So we have now 5 colorways: black gold, red, orange, white and champagne. I think all colorways look very good. The black and gold one has that subtle touch of gold elegance without being too loud, but if black and gold isn't your cup of tea, then other colorways are also very good looking in their own right, like this orange one that I have here. And to be perfectly honest, I think it looks so much better in person, despite the really good quality product pictures. And for the full disclosure, Phoibos did send me this watch ahead of its re-release, and I get to keep it, so technically this review is sponsored by them. There will be, of course, all the necessary links where you can explore this timepiece further in the description of this video, and I strongly encourage you to check out Phoibos' stylish diver collections. There is a good reason why they have been so popular since they were established around 2016. So, price and availability. Now, this Eagle Ray compressor collection goes on sale on the 18th of December. That is, by the time this video is out, it should be fully available. Also, it will come out with a considerable discount from its usual price of $360 or euros. This time, until the 18th of January 2024, Phoibos will keep the price at $288 or euros, which is an equivalent of 20% discount. Well, not something to pass by if you are keen on this timepiece. Packaging. Well, this is the first Phoibos on the channel, so I was pleasantly surprised by the original simple and yet effective packaging. We get a robust box covered with nylon and cushion on the inside, so perfect for long international shipment journeys. Inside we get usual paperwork, which also includes a 2-year warranty, which is definitely very much welcome. In regards to dimensions, we have 41mm case diameter, case height is 14mm, and we have 20mm lug width. Now, lug-to-lug distance is compact 47mm, however, due to protruding end links, the effective measurement is around 52.5mm, which is balanced out by how aggressively end links are pointing down. So this watch will still work on most wrist sizes from about 6 inches and up. I will post wrist shots on my about 7-inch wrist and on a 6.25-inch wrist later in this video to show how it wears. We have a generous amount of links here, so the full bracelet will cover wrists up to 8.5 inches in circumference or 21.5 centimeters, and as supplied, this watch weighs 175 grams or 155 grams after adjusting it to my about 7-inch wrist. I might as well mention the movement, and I probably will not surprise anyone if I tell you that we have CIGA NH35 beating in the back of this diver, a dependable and reliable caliber, a workhorse of choice of most macro brands these days. Having said that, it would be interesting to see some possible changes or upgrades in this area, and I will elaborate on this a bit more when we get to the conclusion. Looking at the case, we have a classic super compressor styled case with 2 crowns. As a side note though, the watches historically referred to as super compressor due to 2 crowns and internal bezel are somewhat mislabeled. The term actually applies to a backcase sealing method patented in 1960s, not the number of the crowns. The design used a wave-shaped spring to enhance water resistance as the watch went deeper and deeper under the surface. It also reduced the pressure on the rubber O-ring, prolonging its life. However, with advancements in materials, preserving a rubber gasket that way is no longer relevant. So now that we established what a super compressor really means, let's go back to this eagle ray case. Working our way from the top, we have an interesting T-level sculpted fixed bezel with smooth beveled part on top and riffled kind of coin edge at the base of it. The rest of the case is mostly brushed with a consistent satin finish. The only high polished surfaces are the chamfers that run on top of the flanks of the case. Both crowns are signed with Phoibos Sea Creature logo and both crowns are screwed down. The crown at 4 o'clock is a usual time-setting crown, while the crown at 2 o'clock position operates the internal bezel. I really like the functional design of bezel crown. It only engages the bezel once it's fully out, so setting the bezel position precisely is very easy, and screwing the crown back ensures that the bezel will stay in position as intended. I am highlighting this because not all the brands take this approach with the second crown, leaving it exposed to accidental bumps and misalignments. Looking at the back of the case, we have a well-finished screw-on back cover with a nice and deep embossment of 8-legged sea creature, which I think looks pretty cool. And yes, we do have 200 meters of declared water resistance on this diver watch. Crystal. We have ever so slightly curved double dome sapphire crystal here. We have anti-reflective undercoating applied. The air coating is clear and I must say is quite effective too, which is brilliant because we really don't want anything that would disrupt the view of this really good looking dial. Okay, this is undoubtedly the star of the show. We have a syringe-style hour and minute hand and a lollipop second hand, very much reminiscent of a blank pen but a scuff handset. The hands are well finished and play in the light really nicely. We have applied hour markers, which also have high polish framing and bounce the light really well. And all that against the backdrop of almost organic-looking 3-dimensional ray pattern on the dial background, with the fume gradient transitions from orange to brown for more dramatic effect. The minute chaptering, logo under 12 o'clock marker and 200-meter text at the bottom of the dial are all printed in a subtle silvery color, and we have a splash of red in the wood automatic, which works really well with the red tip of the second hand and the bezel triangle at 12 o'clock position. And of course we have a very well-framed date window in place of the 6 o'clock marker. I think it is the most natural and balanced place possible. I can probably make a separate video on the dial alone, so to keep things short, I will just say that this is one of the most interesting dials on the diver in my collection, period. And we must not forget about the lume. Here is the lume shot. The lume is pretty decent. It is BGW9 Superluminova. It is a bit less bright than, let's say, C3 lume, however, it definitely does last the distance. Bracelet. And before we draw a conclusion on this desk diver, let's take a closer look at the bracelet and how this timepiece wears. It is a good quality bracelet with good finishing and decent tolerances. We have solid end links and solid links. The links are connected by screws and feel quality. The bracelet pattern does resemble Omega Seamaster bracelet, which is not a bad thing. However, unlike the Omega bracelet, which has no taper, this one tapers down to 18mm at the clasp, which adds a touch of elegance to the overall look of this tool watch. And we have a fully milled signed double pusher clasp here with 3 well-spaced macro adjustments. Pretty perfect arrangement for a desk diver. On my about 7-inch wrist, it does wear really well. It is a 41mm diver, so don't expect it to disappear on your wrist. It will definitely make its presence known in a nice and subtle kind of way. And its somewhat unusual vintage styling will most likely be noticed too. My wife even asked to try it on, which is really out of character. On the slimmer wrists, this watch still wears pretty well, like here we see on a 6¼ wrist. And of course, if we want to take a full advantage of this compact 47mm lug-to-lug span, we can always swap the bracelet for a strap or a nater. Verdict. Okay, so this one is clearly a winner for Phoibos, otherwise they wouldn't be reissuing this model time and time again. But is it songs and praises only? Well, it is a comprehensive, well-rounded package, so I don't see any flaws that worth discussing. However, I do have a few suggestions, 3 to be precise. Mind you, at least 1, if not 2 of my suggestions will most likely hike up the price. So, the first one is the movement. I see that Phoibos already has some models with Miyota 9000 series movement, so it would be interesting to see this movement option in this watch too. Second, a potentially simple update to inverted end links might make this timepiece even more versatile. And third, an on-the-fly adjustment clasp update would make it even more practical. And to answer my initial question, what makes this model so popular, I think it is a combination of timeless style, original design and brilliant execution. And did I mention how good looking this dial is? What are your thoughts? Well, do let us know in the comments. And for more cool watches, including from micro brands, check out my playlist over here. And if you found this review helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next video.